In today's news, lamp makers are accused of exploiting a loophole in lab tests to fool customers. Havells sells Sylvania to the Chinese. And I talk with British artist Matthew Penn on the role that light plays in his work. All that's coming up, so stick around. Hello and welcome to Lux Today for January 12th. I'm Courtney Ferguson. Lamp makers have been accused of misleading consumers about the brightness and energy use of their products by exploiting a loophole in European tests. Major names like IKEA, Philips, GE, and Osram are among those said to be exaggerating energy performance by a quarter more than claimed on packaging. The discrepancy has been highlighted by the Swedish Consumer Association and is caused by the allowed tolerances in the official testing procedures for lamps. In Swedish tests, a GE 70-watt halogen bulb was 20% less bright than its stated 1200 lumens, and a 28-watt Philips halogen bulb was found to be 24% less bright than claimed. Lamp makers say they too want to see the loophole closed. Diedrich de Stapelaar, chief of their representative body Lighting Europe, says they want a level playing field. The current regulation is not practicable and needs to be addressed by regulators. Havells India has announced that it will sell its majority stake in Sylvania to a Chinese company. Sylvania, a separate concern to Osram Sylvania in the United States, has been bought by Shanghai Falo Acoustics, a listed company on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. The deal includes Sylvania brands Lumiance and Accord. Havells chief Anil Rai Gupta says Havells has successfully developed Sylvania into an entrepreneurial organization with a global perspective, but the deal was right for the business. It prices Sylvania at $205 million. Our special interview this week focuses on light and art. London artist Matthew Penn uses layered light to bring his hyper-realistic paintings to life. I caught up with him at the Lux Live show in London and got him to reveal the secrets of his art. So Matthew, tell me a little bit about your artwork and why we're using all these lights to illuminate it.
So these pictures that I've created here are all done in oil paints. They're created in about 30 to 40 layers of paint. We start off very, very loose at the beginning, very almost impressionistic to get the effect. Each layer has to dry before I move on to the next one, and every time I get closer and closer to the end of the picture, the marks become smaller and smaller to represent how the skin has grown in real life, but through an artistic sort of medium. So one of the biggest things that I do with my art is I create this very high contrast between light and dark. I believe it gives more atmosphere to the pictures. It shows off the bone, muscle and skin structure that I'm trying to create a lot better. And we eventually end up with one of these final pieces that take around 2 months worth of time to create, but I will work on for a whole year. So I'll be working on about 15 pieces throughout the year, and it will be, whilst a layer is drying, I will move on to the next one, do another layer, and eventually I'll end up with this like finished article that I have ready to use this new lighting system on. So because of the fact that we've gone for this very sort of high contrast look between the pictures, what I wanted to do was enhance that even further when the painting was finished. So to create that effect, to make you feel basically like you're standing in front of that person in real life, to breathe life into the painting. So what I started off doing was I worked with Urco Lighting, and we started shining lights onto the whole picture. It wasn't quite working at the beginning. So then I said, let's try and tailor these lights a bit more, really shine a colour onto just the specific parts that are lit in the painting. So we started off by shining 3000 Kelvin lights, manipulating one here, all the way down the body, and bringing them up to different levels to suit that area of the painting in terms of its intensity of intended light. We eventually achieved that. We had the addition of these framing projectors. So I'd use the framing projector in a very unconventional way. We would get a vague shape, like so, and then I would completely blow it out of focus so it bleeds into the darks. So it's, again, we've started that process of sculpting light like a sculptor would do when he's creating a piece of marble or bronze. And you're eventually starting to achieve this effect of not touching any of the blacks in the picture, which gives them more depth and it brings the actual painting into the foreground. Once this sort of level was achieved, we sort of stood back, looked at the picture, realised that because we were using a 3000 Kelvin light, which is quite a warm one, I was getting the skin tones that I was trying to achieve, but it was making the highlights flat. So then I added the addition of a 4000 Kelvin light, and they were shone, so a white light, they were shone in exactly the same position as the 3000s. What this then done was bring out the highlights. So what I'd managed to achieve is this sculpting effect with light and also layering of light colours, almost like using how I would mix my paints. I'd mix my different colours to get this effect of tones, skin colour, everything you needed, and treated light in exactly the same way. Although the lights aren't attached to the painting, they are as much as a part of that piece of artwork as the painting itself.
That wraps things up for us today, but remember you can get all the latest lighting news globally, 24 hours a day at luxreview.com. I'm Courtney Ferguson for Lux Today. We'll see you back here at the same time next week.